So you were these.
I'm sorry. Where are we going?
I don't know.
Sorry guys, I accidentally hit the freaking button.
Yeah, I thought we were all dropping off.
Steamy?
They're too far.
Hey, we're way too far. We might as well go to retail.
I know, I don't know why you didn't jump as soon as... How are you gonna go to retail?
Oh, I thought none of y'all jumped. I can get there. I can get to Stevie.
I mean, we can go in the middle somewhere. Dirty, maybe, or...
Buttery.
I'll make it. Kenzie, can you make it?
No.
Buttery.
What?
Bro, when was the last time that you got a victory royale?
I don't know.
I didn't make it. I'm going with Joanna.
I can make it.
Who's pink? Oh, it's you, Brian. Never mind.
I don't know where we're going, Slimy. They don't. Oh, turn around.
What the freak? Where are we going?
I think we're going to Dirty. She marked Dirty. We're going Dirty.
Oh my god, bro.
I literally said we'll meet in the middle. Cause Kenzie, there's no way Kenzie was making that.
Oh no. I'm already getting shot at.
I don't have a gun.
I'm dead.
Oh my god.
They're gonna kill me. They're gonna kill me too.
Get a gun and get rolling, homie.
I got a great tech.
I got shot by someone.
I don't got nothing.
Get wrecked.
He's low.
Get wrecked.
Not a guy to know. He's really low.
I just knocked one.
I didn't knock anybody, but I shot a guy. Oh god, there's a lot of people here. Oh.
I got two of them. I'll take two.
I just got one.
All I need is some freaking edge, right?
Healing up right now, I am.
Kenzie, watch out.
You have the tack.
You guys are wrecking people.
You're fine, go ahead, I got a blue pump right now.
Alright. I was scared because I only had 4 ammo.
I already hit that chest up there.
Anybody want this?
I already got one.
What is it, Slimy?
Oh. It was a green AR. Do you want it?
I already got one.
Okay.
XP coin, y'all.
No, this one.
We can.
Everybody gets one.
Silly goober.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You're
I don't
good.
really get these.
Just giving you a hard time.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of them. Oh my god, dude, my whole screen just went up with XP coins.
I know.
Yeah.
I got them all but one. Darn it.
But you can have it. You can have it.
Kins, I got minis for you. Slimy, I got minis for you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I need minis.
So do I.
Wait, where are you? Oh, she's over there.
Hold on, another one.
I have no minis on me. Oh, here. Got a big pot.
Oh. Oh. Big fight. I'm not gonna make it. You guys can have it. Oh yeah, I will. Yeah, I will.
It's a race. It's a race.
No. No.
Yeah. No. Ah, let's go. Okay, you can have it. You can have it.
No, you take it.
No, you can have it. Seriously, you can have it. You can have it.
Thank you.
No, not you. Not you. Give it back to him.
Soda.
Give it back to him. Give it back to him.
She's brushing her.
Drop it, bro. Give it back to him.
I can't drop it anyway.
No, you said it. Okay, here. Come over here, cause she's gonna try to take it.
I'm not gonna, dude, I don't even need it. I was just joking around.
Slimy, did I not drop you 2 minis?
Oh yeah, you did. You're good. You're good.
You just didn't use them yet.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm sorry.
She's brushing her with my hairbrush.
What is she doing with the cat? What is she doing to the cat?
She's brushing the cat with my hairbrush. What's the dodo doing?
Oh my god, I want that SMG. Let me have that, bro.
No,
Thank you, dude.
absolutely not.
Here's Slimy.
What you mean, Slimy?
Oh. Oh, wrong person. I was looking at Brian.
I'm still not slimy though. Oh, we gotta go. We gotta go, fellows.
Oh yeah, we gotta go, buddy.
Oh wow, I only got a little ways to go too.
We never even looked. We just went.
That's no good.
We're probably dead. Well, I won't be dead, but. You guys have any meds on you?
Nope.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm gonna die.
Then Slimy
You
and
guys will be
Mackenzie are
fine.
dead.
Yeah, we're dead, buddy.
Well, if you could stay by me, I have the bazooka thing, so.
I'm
Oh, yeah.
with you.
Yeah, I'm staying by you.
They're all right there
Right.
together.
Oh yeah, I'm sticking by you, buddy. Anybody have a lunch pad?
Nope.
Thank you so much.
You're
I
welcome,
could take
Slimy.
one of them.
Give me
So
that.
much, brother. Too late, I got it. Too late, I
Need
got it.
We all
Oh,
get
let's
it.
go. I'm level 57, 47. Let's go. Let's go.
47.
Brian, can you hit me with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, go towards him.
Bingo. We should be good, guys. We should be fine.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Kenzie, what are you watching?
That's not me.
It's your dad. He's deaf.
Oh, definitely can tell.
I was gonna say, that's not me.
Yeah, I'm not watching anything either.
Sounds like the news or something.
Yeah.
He is that old, so it makes sense.
He's old and deaf.
Why did we find that so funny, Brian?
Because he's old, and I know it.
Oh,
I would
yeah. We all know he's really old.
He's not that old. I bet you he's younger than you think he
Nah,
is.
I was just following along with you guys. I was following along.
He said, I don't know.
Yeah.
Guys, we made it out alive. How?
Yo, we just made it out alive. That's so cool, bro.
Kobe.
You gotta say 4, Kobe.
For Kobe.
Hey, Eric.
Sit down. Sit.
What's she doing now?
You-
Sit.
Standing on her desk.
On her desk?
Yeah, sit down. You got your BB.
Goodness gracious.
Baby daddy.
Wait, Brian, is that your sister?
Yeah. Baby
Oh.
sister.
Not talking about the one that's playing Fortnite with us.
No, it's cousin.
Oh, that's
Cousin, stepmom.
Wait, so that's your cousin and that's your stepmom.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh,
I
my
don't get
stepmom.
it.
Oh, my step. Okay, yeah,
Oh,
Yeah,
is your
Mackenzie's
stepmom?
his cousin. I'm his stepmom.
yeah. He was so confused.
Oh my god, she sounds really young, bro.
Thanks.
No. I was just saying.
He said, thanks. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm not old.
Remember when Slimy actually thought that there was a guy named Billy?
Yeah, that dude.
That was
Bro, he was
hilarious.
literally dying laughing. He was literally
Yeah, what?
like, he was literally cracking
Oh my
up.
god, yeah, we have this
like,
guy, there was this guy that was talking with us, we were all playing, right?
Yeah.
And we said
Bro,
something, we were
Buttery.
talking, and the dude's like, shut up, I was like, and then he's just like, I don't know, he was just,
Bro, Butter, you kept going off on that guy.
yeah, I
Like,
told him to
last
shut
time,
up, like,
dude.
he wouldn't shut. They pulled the
Bro, that
card,
was so hilarious.
they pulled the card
Dude.
about, like, I'll beat you up, so I told him to do it.
Dude, that was so hilarious, bro.
I don't even know why he was so mad, like, he was yelling at you guys for no reason, I don't even know why he was
He
so
was
mad.
That's what I was
But-
saying.
He called me a loser, but he was the first one to die.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
It's pretty funny, not gonna lie.
And then I told him it's funny how you treat a girl.
Yeah, cause he did say he said he'll elf Buttery's mom, so I was like, wow. Then their cousin.
That'd have been funny if I was playing that day.
Yeah.
No, yeah, he would have kept saying weird things to you.
Yeah, he
I'm
kept
pretty
saying
sure.
words, I kept telling him shut
Yeah,
up,
he-
I was like, dude,
yeah.
shut up, man.
Dude, that guy was really.
Was he grown or was he like a kid?
Yeah, he was.
Oh,
He was a
no,
grown
he was a
man.
grown man. I was all
Oh,
over his butt the whole time.
Bro,
I was
Buttery's
all
so-
over
bro,
everybody.
Buttery's- Yeah, he was all over him, bro.
I was like, dude, shut your mouth. I said, you probably live in
Buddy,
your
I have to
grandma's
give you
basement. He got so
That's
mad.
what I was saying. I have to give you props for that. I have to
That was
give you
after he
props for
said that,
bro.
though, about mom. He's like, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, I
And I'm
have
like,
to give you
bet.
props
Get
for
the,
that.
let's try to get the drop.
Hey, someone's watching you.
Hey, we got the other one too.
Buttery, guess what?
What? Man.
Bro, I have PS4. Well, I'm gonna add you, okay?
You don't have PS4? Did you not have PS4
I do,
before?
I do.
Oh no, I'm dead. Oh no. Never mind.
Oh,
I do
rocket
have a
launcher.
PS4.
Oh, I ended up with the rockets.
Do you have
I
Modern
didn't just buy it.
Warfare?
I've been had a PS4. I didn't. Yeah.
Oh,
No,
yeah,
no,
we gotta-
yeah, no, yeah. Yeah. I
No
think
or
I do.
yeah? Yeah or
Wait,
no?
Is it the one that says Modern
Kids,
Warfare
you with
and then
me?
it has the guy in the blue?
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
there? Yeah, yeah, I have that.
I don't know who's watching. I can't figure out who it is. Nobody said anything in the
Wait.
chat.
Hold on, I'm going to the other drop. I just don't want to die.
Oh, you're by yourself. I didn't realize the drop was
I
that
know,
way.
I
I'm coming.
Oh,
I'm coming.
Here I come. Here we come.
They're all coming. I'll be right there.
Yeah, we're all coming. We have you.
We help.
Oh,
We help.
oh, see, I'm getting shot at.
Oh, never mind.
Okay,
We
we're
still
coming.
gotta come help.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's another rocket launcher.
Oh, freak.
Dude, I'm still
they're
salty
coming.
about our game.
How many games have you guys played?
Me and her played a duo before we played with Kenzie.
Oh.
I had
Where
the bow.
is he?
I had the bow and I got killed.
I got
What
him.
the freak? You're trash. I'm just kidding.
You're
I need
trash.
them rockets.
I
I'm
was
trash.
just
Go
I'm
ahead.
just
I
kidding.
dropped some more over there too.
I got them.
I got.
You've
some
got a
too.
minigun or
Wait, can you give me some?
SMG.
Can you give me some AR ammo? Do you have a lot? Can someone give me some? I only have.
I don't have much.
I have 215 when I get there.
There's the mini ammo.
I got 233, buddy.
Oh,
Also, the hill.
Good save,
It looks
buddy.
like. Where-
There's you some
Sorry,
AR
sorry,
ammo,
sorry.
Slimy.
Oh, yeah, right here,
Oh,
buddy.
oh, sorry.
Right here, buddy. Oh, 64, 31, blues. Good job. Way to shoot that rocket
Let's
launcher.
fuck these bitches up. Oh yeah. Hold on, let me waste these. Let me waste these. Oh. I got him. I got him. Where is he?
Right here.
Okay. Anyway, let's go.
There's one all the way up top.
Oh, 23 blue, 22 blue. Got the guy at the top.
Yep, me too. Hit him for 44.
I'm gonna eat these grenades over to your right. Oh, he has a rocket launcher too. Doesn't matter.
Oh, dude, I'm dead.
Tag number 60.
Try to go behind him a little bit, but not too much, so I don't get killed.
There's one right on top of Kinsey and them. Right on top of us here.
33 blue again. All over him.
Did you guys get
Oh,
him?
he's in the bottom. He's in the bottom.
Yeah.
Good finish.
We
Good
got,
kill.
we got that.
Good
We
kill.
got
Let's
that
get
boy.
that. Let's
We
get
got
that boy. Run.
Oh. Wait, do you want the scar? Mackenzie, do you want the scar?
Kenzie,
No,
take
I'm
this one.
good.
Give her. Oh, you're good. Okay, I was gonna say give it to her real quick so we can fight, but
I need. Yeah.
He gave me a I'm not
Wait,
gonna
I dropped my
let him.
AR. Where the hell did my AR go?
Oh, I just got a blue tat.
I don't know. Where'd you drop it? Where was it at?
It was right here. It was a blue.
Wait, I don't have the AR, but
I don't know.
I can give you the
I've had a
scar
blue
if
AR
you
the whole
want.
That's right. I
I
found
can
it.
give you... Okay.
Oh, hey, still here.
Yeah, he's still up there.
I don't have
Where?
any rockets.
He's up,
Shoot a
he's up
rocket.
I
here.
do.
Give me
He's
some.
up here. Yeah, I need some too. Give me one. Give me one.
Drop. I don't have any.
Give me one.
I only have a couple.
Just drop them.
Okay,
We
fine.
need them or we're gonna get killed.
She has a rocket launcher too.
Oh, I didn't realize that. She
Yeah.
didn't say that. She just. Here, I got some. Pick them up right here. Come here, Slimy.
It's-
Oh, no, never mind, Slimy. You're full health. Never mind. But
Somebody's gonna have to give me some AR ammo now. Well, y'all are hiding. I'm out here shooting out of AR ammo.
I'm
There's
helping
one
you
pushing
too.
right down on
Dude,
you.
Dude, there's too many of them. There's too many.
it's a whole
I'm not
set
going.
of people,
I'm
bro.
not going.
Hold on, I
I'm
got
not
a
going.
launch pad. I got a launch pad.
Lay it down. We'll go. Go with you.
Oh crap! I'm dead. I'm dead.
Never mind. We're not going with you.
Give me. They're coming. Help us. They're coming.
Dude, I can't reload my stuff, man.
Oh,
Where's he at? I'm right here with you.
Right here.
Oh my
he's
god.
right there.
There's 4 of them. There's 3 of them. There's too many.
Okay.
There was
That was a good
there was too many.
that was
Wait.
good.
Wait.
Are you playing
There's-
again or what?
Yeah, they were shooting from everywhere.
Alright. Bro, that was a really good game, bro.
Yeah.
My bad.
Dude, I got 2 kills, bro. I was just smacking people in the head.
I had 3.
I got one.
Wait,
Okay,
is she
3.
is she readying up? Is she readying up?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Buttery. Wait, Buttery. How many kills did you get?
I think I had 3.
Oh.
I had one.
Yeah, I only had 2. 2 or 3. I don't. Yeah, I think I only had 2.
Joanna, how many did you have?
I think she. I don't think she got any. I don't know.
She had 1, I think, for sure.
I don't know.
Nice
She's not
being- not
talking.
Oh yeah. She did. Hey, Buttery. Give me a high five, bro.
Nope.
Give me a high five. Mackenzie, give me a high
Do
five.
it. I tried to get guy 5 minutes. Let me. He's Congoing. Uh-oh. Monsters coming in here.
Where are we going?
Now.
What?
Here.
You wanna sit here with Bubba?
Where?
Come here. Hey, baby.
You going to Hollywood?
You sit here? Sit here.
Yeah.
Okay, sit there. She's already sitting on my bed. Or, yeah, on my bed.
Not
How come?
Hollywood. I said Hollywood. My bad.
Huh.
Bro. In like in heaven.
Yeah.
Like.
Did they vault
You
the
know
llamas again?
Yeah. Do you know the case about like paradise? It's like on the side
do
of
what?
paradise.
Well, that kid was talking to you.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were just talking, man. My bad. Yeah, Little Mexico. Yeah, I remember that
Yeah.
place.
Yeah, dude, that place is so freaking good, bro.
That or Paradise. I
don't
love
e-
Paradise too. Hey,
Paradise
Yeah,
Palms.
hey.
I like the Little Mexico better.
She's
Little
yelling at her
Mexico
now.
was way better, though.
Nah, she's good. She's just like, she was sitting here staring at something. I don't know what she was doing. Like, she was just walking around and I wanted
Guess
to
what
play.
I found? Guess what I found?
What'd you find?
Buttery. Rocket launcher, do you want it?
If you don't want it, I'll take it. If you want it, then no.
I do want it, bro.
Okay, well then, keep it then.
You no, if you want it, you can have it.
She's coming.
I just need to find a gun.
Here, I got an AR for you. Or I got an AR.
Yeah, give it to me, please.
I don't care.
Thank you very much.
Now drop the rocket launcher. Are you dropping the rocket launcher?
Okay. Here go
Alright.
the ammo. Come back. What the frick are you going? Here go the ammo.
Oh, I didn't know. It's time to just run with the grenades and a rocket launcher.
Oh.
There should be 2 in there. Or 1.
Oh yeah, I'm almost done with the. Dude, are you guys almost done with the dead food challenge? Like,
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
already done with it. Week 4 is
Yeah.
over.
Wait, you're done with? You have the skin?
No, there's gonna be a week 5, I think.
No, I haven't. I'm not done with the back bling yet. I'm almost there. But you
Hey,
want it?
excuse me, sir.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Alright.
I don't want this freaking booty crap. I don't want that. I don't want that.
She's in here geeking because she knew Dad was
Yeah.
glitching. Oh.
Oh, what? I want some slice.
All right.
Wait, where is the slice? Oh, there.
I'm going over to that little,
Don't get killed.
so that,
Yeah. I don't. We can't lose anyone on this team. Try not to get killed, people. We want to get this victory with everyone alive.
Or just get the victory. Who cares who's alive?
Yeah.
No, I want to get the. No, I want to get the victory with everyone alive because I have a challenge. Oh, what the freak? I see the guy. He's not.
yeah, I threw a bunch of bombs in there.
Dang it, I'm missing him. He's too far. I hate when they're. Oh my god, bro. We need help over here, guys.
I'm
'Cause, like,
coming.
I'm missing shots, so like.
You guys are running off, aren't you? You guys ain't playing. You guys are trying to kill people.
We're trying to get this win. Yeah, we're trying to get this win, buddy.
Buddy.
Yeah, buddy. Oh,
Oh,
we
yeah,
got another rocket launcher.
I
I got
definitely
another
need
rocket
that
launcher.
big pot.
Freak down, boy.
Uh-oh.
I
I got you. Where's
I
he?
think the henchmen see you guys.
Oh, good job. Dang it, I need ammo.
I need that 55 now. Oh,
Give it to
I
her.
need it. I don't
No,
have
no,
any.
no,
I
you're
don't need
good.
it. I don't need it. I don't need
I
it.
marked minis back there.
25.
I can't get them. I didn't realize you marked minis.
Wait, can you guys kill these guys? Kill them guys.
I killed
because
one
need
upstairs,
that.
2 upstairs.
Dang it. Oh,
I didn't like fully kill him though. There should be one sitting up
We
there.
don't need them.
Oh.
The chest is already open.
Oh.
Yeah.
guys.
job.
Oh, AK. Okay, AK. That's mine. Nope.
I don't want that.
What is it?
AK.
My bad, I'm sorry.
There's another sniper.
Oh.
I already dropped mine.
Need that.
No, I just really like AKs. I don't know why.
I like
just
the heavy
them.
sniper like you like the AK, buddy.
Oh, you can
I
have the
got-
heavy sniper,
You
buddy.
just took his
Bro,
rocket launcher. Now you're
Buttery,
taking
I give you
his.
too many stuff. I give you too
Yeah, I
many
agree.
things. I don't want that. I have a rocket launcher. Oh, you can have it. You can have it.
Hey, Storm.
Oh, anybody don't want this? Okay.
No, you can have it. I'm just messing with you.
Huh?
I didn't realize you took it. I thought you just left it there.
I'll
good?
I'll give it.
What's on your shirt?
Nah.
Where'd she go?
The freak is going.
She's trying to get in here.
I was trying to check the building right here. I need a shotgun.
Dude, somebody's been watching
So do
me
I.
forever and haven't
I don't
said a
have
word.
it. Yeah, I don't have a shotgun. I need one too, bro.
I have a green AR or a green tac.
Packs are really good to deal with, bro. I love packs. Bro, do you guys remember season 3 with the season 3 with the purple tag?
Oh. There you go, Ken.
Y'all better get to the circle.
Bro, if anyone find a blue SMG, give it to me. I love those things. I love those things better than the AK. Those are really good.
Huh?
Yeah,
She's down at her grandma and grandpa's.
that's what I got is a submachine gun. I don't even have an AR.
I got terrible loot.
Hey,
Except
bro,
for
we
my
have to go kill some enemies.
I'm
I got a
Yeah.
burst.
got my sniper.
I need some AR ammo.
I got a burst, blue machine gun, I got 2 spray guns, a sniper, and a burst.
Why do you have 2
I
spray
have
guns?
I have an AK. I have
I don't know.
What else do I have? I have an AK. I have a fire SMG, and I have a heavy sniper. And I have a
There's a blue burst. I don't know what color you got.
I got green.
Hey, give me
Oh, well, there you go.
Do
Take
you
that
have
blue
it?
one real
Do you
quick.
have it?
The blue one's better.
Oh,
Come on.
yeah, the blue one.
Storm's gonna get us. Hey. Alright, my loot's getting better.
I know, now I'm
Somebody hit
upgraded
this
to
house.
blue and
Yeah,
purple
guys.
guns.
No,
Should
I'm
get
finna
better.
get catched in a storm. Oh god.
I don't have the band-aid gun this time, buddy, so.
We're in. We're good.
Oh, I need to get in the circle.
I literally have no
There,
AR.
princess.
I need to get an AR. There's a green submachine gun. Oh, yes. Purple burst,
Let's
that's what I
go,
need.
bro. Oh, I saw that. No. Buttery. Come on.
How's that yours? I
Oh,
pretty much
wait.
hit that chest.
Lucky you. Wait, do you still have that blue SMG?
Yeah, still have it in my hand.
Can I get it?
Where's
Yeah.
Joanna?
Thank you
There's a
very much.
slurpfish.
Oh yeah, I love you, Buttery.
I need a slugfish.
Oh, there's one.
Oh, lucky you.
I didn't even see that, to be honest. I just landed on top of it.
I don't care.
When you said that, I was like, oh, I looked at my thing. Here, come here.
I need some ammo.
Oh, we got a long
thank
way
you,
to go, y'all.
Oh
Oh,
my.
yeah.
Now you have like 300
Oh.
ammo probably.
No, yeah, I have 159 in my.
We always have a long way to go.
Yeah, we always are the ones. Let's go though.
Peekaboo! I still have my ghost henchman thing on. What the heck?
Yeah, they be on for a very long time sometimes.
Dang,
Wait,
still no
is
attack?
she coming?
Should be coming.
Who?
You.
I'm on my way.
I have a tag. You haven't found a tag yet?
No, I got a gray one.
Oh man.
I have a.
Oh
I
god, you're
haven't found
freaking
one.
dead, bro.
I have a green one.
Bro,
I have
I'm
no.
talking about you, Buttery. You're dead. I just saw the way that you. I saw that, Buttery.
Yeah, did you see that? Oh my god,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah, I saw that, Buttery. You're dead for that.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh.
I'm not going back to help you guys. We got too
Oh
long to
god.
go.
Oh.
No, it's not me, it's them.
Oh.
They're getting wrecked by that daggone thing.
I spawned it. Oh, I got a great
Oh, we
tag.
gotta go. Yo, it's coming.
I didn't even see that.
Don't stop, goofballs.
Hey, there's a blue
Oh, what
ball.
the freak? What the freak?
I'm stuck.
I'm stuck too.
Y'all are about to
I'm
die.
dead.
I'm good.
Lucky you. I'm dead.
She ain't stopping for
Yeah.
nothing, dude. She out of
Yeah,
here.
she's not. Yeah, she's
Yeah, I
gone.
ain't playing with y'all.
Oh,
She's taking this game serious. She's like,
I
no, I'm not
getting
dying.
stuck in the storm, man. I hate it.
I'm about to get stuck. You guys are stuck. I mean, I'm about to get stuck, and then Joanna's gonna get stuck.
Who's your wand?
J-Bud.
But
Oh.
Jinx,
Why the freak is she called her saying J-Bud?
that's her name.
I'm dead.
My name
Her
is
name?
Joanna.
Oh. Oh, my bad.
Slimy, you can't be that goofy, man.
No, I only know you, and I know Mackenzie, that's all. Well, I barely know him.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting stuck in it. No.
Oh my god, and they're fighting right in front of me too.
Let's go.
Oh my, I'm dead.
Time to
dead, bro.
see who the real men are in this game. Let's go.
I'm not the real man anymore. I'm dead.
I'm not a man, so.
Oh, I was about
I'm
to
a teenager.
pick that
I'm a
up.
teenager, but I'm not a man. I'll be a man. Like,
Brian's not a man. Not yet.
I'll be a man in 3 days.
I'll be a
Oh
man
my
in 48 hours.
More like 18
Oh my God.
years.
Nah.
I'm
no.
dead. I'm
Not
dead.
18 years. I'm not gonna be a man at 18. Wait, do you even know how old I am?
13, 14?
Slimy.
I'm fucking dead. Oh my god. I can try to help you, but I'm fucking dead. Oh, fuck me.
Easy, dude. Easy on the language only.
No, I hate dying. It's like,
Well, I know
wanna
that,
get the
but
freaking
calm
victory.
down. I don't even.
Mackenzie, I
You're
always
dead.
help you.
That guy's dead.
I always help you. Mackenzie.
I can probably help 2 of you, or 1 of you.
Well, oh man. I was trying to heal or I wasn't gonna be able to get any of them.
Go. Ah, help me.
No.
Oh, break.
Stupid auto pickup crap, bro. I hate it.
It only auto picks up if you have an empty spot.
Well, I did have an empty slot.
Oh.
It's fine. We got you. We got you. Now you're gonna have full health instead of 30. So,
Yeah.
but I know I'm gonna die.
Who, me?
At some point, we're gonna die.
Okay,
'Cause-
I saw that snipe.
How did you not kill him?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
But she had a blue one. If she had a gold one, she would have smacked him. I mean, she had a purple one. Thank you, Buttery. Thank you.
Yep.
But we're only gonna come back with a pistol.
Well, you're good. Find a gun. You'll be fine.
Here's a green. Here's a green.
Oh my god, I'm at one kill. Oh, freak, I'm dead.
They shooting at you?
Yeah.
You're shooting. Where?
I'm only at 1 HP. It only. Why did it only put up that 1 HP?
Shot.
Oh, I got one. You always hiding.
Literally wasn't hiding. Literally was walking out the door. And that guy just got
Where are they?
wrecked. So get
Where
on
are
my
they?
There's
level,
one
buddy.
more. Hurry, the storm's coming. Behind you, behind you.
Oh.
Freak you, you god. Oh, I got it.
Can't move. What the heck, dude? Oh my god!
Oh,
my God.
That was terrible. That guy was terrible. You should have killed him.
Bull crap, bro. I literally couldn't switch guns to shoot him. I kept throwing grenades at him.
Yeah.
medicine?
Dude, he has a freaking hot dog sale.
Yeah, that means he likes like hot
Oh,
Yeah, you
dogs.
know. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Guys really weird. I would never buy that skin,
Is
bro.
that the chair?
What?
It just made noise like that?
He likes hot dogs.
Yeah, the guy, he's really freaking weird, bro.
Gosh, man, we shouldn't have lost that game.
Yeah, bro, like, I really want to...
Kenzie only had 1 health, I guess.
Yeah, it took, when I rebooted, I had 1 HP.
There's no way. That's physically impossible.
No, it's not, because I was at 1 HP. And then I tried to go hide in a corner, hopefully he was gonna go somewhere else.
And then you get wrecked.
Yeah, and then he comes over there and kill me.
That guy had the Midas drum gun, too.
Metis!
Whatever.
Where are we going?
I
think we're ready for it now. We're ready for it. We're going.
And it's on the bus line? This is stupid.
Yeah, because it's right there. Everybody's gonna go there.
Go to Salty then.
I mean, I already jumped.
Well, Salty's
we're
right
on
next
it.
to it, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, we're ready now.
Whatever, bro.
We are ready now, but
Oh, this is...
I'll wait till it's
that
not on
was
the.
some
I guess
freaking
I'll wait
bull
until it's.
last
I
game.
guess I'll wait until it's not on the bus line.
We're about to get wrecked at Salty, too.
No,
Yeah,
I never get
mass.
wrecked at Salty.
Well, just get your guns
always
and
get killed.
shoot, then don't
Yeah.
die.
I'm going to the slurp truck over here. Just
Oh,
so
yeah.
y'all know.
That means we're all gonna die. She'll be coming in late.
No, I'm gonna go with her, but after I go with her, I'm gonna go to the bottom and go get guns. Cause every time I go here, they have guns at the bottom.
So I mean, I'm seriously about to sit here and get
I
wrecked.
got
Me and
a
Mackenzie gonna get
jump
wrecked here.
I'm not getting wrecked, bro. Leave
Don't
me a
hit
gun,
that.
please. Leave me a gun, please. I'm not.
I literally have 1 gun.
There's the chest up here.
Oh, frick. I'm dead.
You
I'm
can have it.
dead. Okay.
You're dead. You're the one. Me and Kenzie are only 2 and Salty right now. How are you dead?
You know, like us.
Yep, there we go.
Oh, where are you?
There we go.
Because he's worried about whining.
Literally wasn't even whining. Literally.
I'm gonna save you guys a big fight, okay? It'll do stuff. I have a blue pistol, hopefully it'll do stuff.
There was more squads, so it's probably only one squad left. Because there was people.
Somebody here. Somebody's in his house. I have another big fight too. So, oh, freak. He said when he catches me. Oh, freak. I shot one for like 15, I think. I don't know. I shot him again.
Time for 30.
Okay, good job. I'm scared to like try to kill this guy because he has. I think he
I
has
reboot
like
cards
a AR.
at 50. It was just you kid.
Oh, I hate a pump. God, I hate a pump.
What the frick? I shot him from 52. Oh my god.
There was somebody
Oh,
behind
he
you.
literally has 1 health.
And I shot him from 52. Are you serious?
On your phone.
Bullshit, bro.
You can milk and find your phone. Go get your BB. Find your BB. Where's BB at? Go find BB.
Alright, this is about to be my last one for a minute, y'all.
Alright.
Will you be back on?
Yeah.
Yeah, be back on.
I'm sitting on probably all night. I don't have anything to do.
I might have fell.
Wait, Butter, when are you getting off?
It looks like it
Oh,
might
no,
be.
yeah.
I can't tell.
Wait, aren't you guys on free?
Yeah, we're all on PlayStation.
Free break?
We're still
What?
there now.
Never mind. I
No,
don't play
no.
PlayStation.
Is it under there? Yay,
I said,
Daddy.
are you guys on spring break?
Oh, spring break.
Yeah.
They're on coronavirus break.
Huh.
That's some bullshit.
Corona break.
Corona.
Bullshit. I don't believe that.
How do you
How old
not
are you,
believe-
Sonny?
I wish our spring
fuck.
break was 3
Wait, what'd you
weeks
say?
every spring.
Give me a high five.
How old are you?
I'm 3 and 1. That's 3 and 1.
13.
Yeah. I'm getting
You worded it wrong.
3 and
You
1's
said you were
31, Goofy.
Yeah, you just said you were
I mean, I'm 1
31.
and 3. I'm 1 and 3.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm dumb as fuck. I'm dumb.
You're good.
I wanna be
Retail, where are we
14.
going? Salty again?
Are we really going to Saudi again? Oh, whatever. Let's go. Who cares? You know what? Since it's their last game, we should just go to the daggone agency, but...
Dude,
I'll be
look
right
at
back
all
on. I'm
this
just
shit,
gonna
bro.
get her situated.
The agency have those literally shooting cameras. So they're just so freaking...
No, she didn't go get her binky. Bristol, go get BB. Bristol,
This is where BB at.
go get BB.
Buttery.
What?
Oh man.
Wrong, man.
Oh man.
Oh, you're dead, Buttery. The guy. Get the gun.
I seen him. I seen the guy. I'm gonna murk him right now. This is all gonna be for you, buddy.
Right that.
I don't have a gun yet.
He's in there. He's in there. He's got a pistol.
All I have is ammo.
Kill him.
Said,
I'm
he's
dead.
in there.
I'm fucking dead.
Slimy, run! You're dead. You're dead. Oh, kill him, Slimy.
Kill! My God.
He's got a pistol and it's busted all 3 of our asses with a pistol.
Then we just, is it one guy?
He had a purple or gold. Kill him.
He just wrecked all of us. He's probably wrecked Kenzie next.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
We suck. But that's not even a purple pistol. It is a green one.
he doesn't know his colors.
One more, damn it. Oh, it doesn't show until you die.
He said it's purple. It's a purple
It doesn't
gun.
show until you die.
It's a purple
That was a
gun.
quick arrow.
That was some freaking sad shit, bro. Like,
We all suck. We should never be playing Fortnite ever
you
again.
should
We
have
suck.
gave me the gun. Butter, you should have gave me the gun.
Hold up.
I know you
hold
had
up.
damn AR.
Yeah, you have the gun. You should have gave me the gun.
Brian,
What?
name 5 sports in 5 seconds. Ready? Go.
Nope.
Bro, this
Nope.
is some
And nope.
freaking dumb
Bowling,
stuff.
bowling, baseball, softball, basketball.
Bro,
Soccer.
Buttery,
Tennis.
I'm probably gonna go play Buttery. After this,
Softball and baseball are like the same thing.
Buttery.
What, and
After
what?
this, I'm probably gonna go. Let me talk. Jeez. After this, I'm probably gonna go play Call of Duty or GTA 5 online.
Why don't you just stay in here? We're gonna play creative after she gets off, and then when she gets
Okay,
off.
yes. I'm gonna whip your ass in creative.
Yeah,
We're
that's
still doing that rematch.
happening,
We're
buddy.
still doing that rematch. From
Happening,
when we played
buddy.
with that one girl. When we played with that one girl? Oh, yeah. we
Yeah,
did.
when we both got smacked by her. Yeah, I remember that.
No, we double teamed her.
Oh
It
yeah.
did not matter to her.
Oh, yeah.
Where are we going?
The rig.
You see her? Okay, the rig.
It's the last drop. It has to be good.
The rig is not that freaking good, bro. It's not that. It has enemies there where you have to get and dress up and kill by them.
Oh, does it?
Kill you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I've been
oh
there a
well.
couple times.
The shark. I like to
I've
go to the
never
shark
been to
because
the
of
Feel
the.
the air.
I'm gonna go to the ship one day. I think
Well, I know, but
Come on, real quick. Good. Good stuff. Come on.
She said no.
Real quick. Real quick. Hey, it's good. I promise you. Come on. I'll give you BB back.
Worry, no, forget you, buddy.
Love you, buddy.
look at her laughing at you.
Oh no. Oh no way, bro. How am I still alive? Oh my god.
I still haven't found the door.
Get wrecked, you stupid henchman.
I found a bazooka blaster, but I don't know how that's gonna help me.
I need a bazooka blaster right now. I'm at 38 health, and I'm about to get wrecked by this henchman. I'm about to die.
I'm not gonna get wrecked by shit. I mean, nothing. I'm sorry.
Boy.
Bro,
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Don't walk in there. Don't walk in there.
Well, I know, but that can get in her tummy, though.
Hey, Slimy, can you give me a favor? Can you come see me? Can you go right here for me?
dude, no, take the tag, bro. That's all I have. Take the tag. Dude, what the frick are you doing? Oh, you don't need it?
I have an AR here.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't want it. I'm good.
I got a launch pad.
Oh, frick, you're dead, boy.
Boy, no, I'm not, homie.
I'm gonna kill this thing with a pickaxe. Oh, yeah.
I don't even know why that thing's even there. It's not defending anything.
I guess they want it there.
What a bunch of losers, bro.
Yeah, what a bunch of losers, bro. Oh, frick, an enemy?
Oh.
Wow. I heard, oh, frick, an enemy, and then you got wrecked.
No, I didn't get it right. That was me that said enemy. That was me. I need some healables or I'm dead.
I'm not gonna lie to you guys.
HP.
There's too many henchmen here for me.
I'm gonna die if I don't get any hit. Oh, that's it right here.
Oh no!
Are you kidding? Oh, I thought that was Kim.
I'm coming, guys. I'm coming.
How did I knock myself out? Oh, that TNT thing. That's what. Okay. That makes more sense.
What TNT thing?
Oh, he's down there on us.
Oh, wait!
I can't mark
I'm
it.
gonna die, bro. I'm getting shot at by freaking. Oh my freaking god. This is some bull, bro.
Kinsey, I got one mini.
Oh, frick, I'm dead.
I just have to get some.
Can you get to Brian or no?
I can. I got you, bro.
I got a boom bow.
Oh, the freak. Brian.
Well, you're not getting me. I'm dead.
Oh my god! You didn't tell me there was someone right there.
There's henchmen there, buddy. Sorry.
You didn't freaking tell me that. That's the problem. Oh my fucking god.
I'm not even gonna lie to you. I didn't even see them there.
Are you serious?
Austin, get on, man.
Bro, come on. Come on, please help me. I don't want to lose this game. I want to stay alive.
We're definitely gonna lose this game. Actually,
Oh
never mind.
my
They're
God.
both. Never mind. No, we're not. They're both alive. But we're not gonna lose this game.
Can anyone get me? I want to stay alive. Oh.
They have no decent guns?
No, not
But
really.
I'm gonna go back to hub after this because it's no way that they could probably do this. Wait, it might be a way. But there's a lot of freaking henchmen around. They're gonna have to kill all those people. How did he get the bow? Are you serious? How did he get? Oh my god! I never got the bow before.
Mackenzie, yeah, I love that. I love that bow.
Yeah, I never got
I
the
found
bow.
it in the water.
We
Yeah.
killed the gold henchman.
Oh, it should have been Tina. Is what it should have been, I think.
Yeah, we
Well,
killed
whoever.
Susie.
It looked like she was like freaking bending. Like what the heck? It has like it does that to everyone, I think.
I love it like that.
I'm trying.
Oh! Oh, crap! Oh, sorry. Where are
we
you,
gonna?
Juliana? Got something in your boot car.
Let's go.
Mine.
Hold on.
Oh, we got slimies. Yours expired, B.
Oh
Oh,
my
never
freaking
mind.
god! Buttery, we have to leave you here. Are you okay? I'm just kidding.
Why are these people so ugly?
What?
Here, I got a gun for you, Slimy.
Kenzie, you got health?
Thank you.
There's a 55. Oh. Hold on.
Oh, freak! Give me it back. Give me it back, boy.
There's
Give me
minis.
back it. I want it right now. Give me it back.
Hold on, Kenzie, I got it.
Okay, thank you. There you go. I don't.
Where does this take us?
Oh, let's go with her.
Oh, take that. It brings us to circle.
And then we can get our rest of the shield from Slurpee right here.
Yeah.
Dude, if it doesn't have anything that you like, give it to me. Oh, okay.
It's just a pistol.
Yeah, I don't want it.
We can get our shield from in here and the loot and stuff.
I know. I had to go here.
Went opposite direction.